What's going on, guys and gals? It is a Friday afternoon. It is May 2nd? No, May 3rd. It's May 3rd today. And just thought we'd go live and check out the star for a little bit. See if we got anybody jumping in here. What's up, Fender Guru? Craig, what's going on, man? Thought we'd just have a little fun, talk about this new axe. So what's everybody doing today? Friday afternoon? Just got out of work a little bit early, and I thought I'd just jump on. Got the famous cup. You guys know about the famous cup, right? We'll give it a couple minutes, and then we'll jump right into hopefully some cool discussion on a really kind of a cool guitar that went through some different phases. So we got Fender Guru, we got Craig. What's going on, dude? And I just wanted to tell you one thing, Craig. That guitar you knocked out for Bill was awesome, man. And the videos he put on Facebook, he obviously loved it. And I love the neck plate, dude. That was just such a sweet thing to do. It was done very tastefully for Bill's dad. And if Bill ever watched this video, dude, I'm glad you got a great guitar, and I'm glad you like it, man. You've wanted a 5150 for a long time. Van Hagar, yeah, what's going on, dude? But anyways, yeah, great great job on Bill's guitar, man. That was so cool, and the head neck plate was amazing. I was, oh, you're here. Okay, Van Hagar, that is you, Bill. Awesome, man. Cool, sweet. Glad you like it, man. And like I said, I had an opportunity to have some good conversations with Bill about his dad, and sounds like he was an awesome guy. I wished I'd had the opportunity to meet him. But that's really cool, man. I'm glad you got that guitar. Nice job, Craig. Sweet, as usual. But Brad, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, the Bumblebee. That's a cool guitar. I like that. I did a little bit of a couple little altercations to it. So one thing, since you are here, Bill, it's kind of funny. You had me kind of going on, you've been mentioning Sucker in a three-piece, and you kind of had me going on that. I forget how the whole thing goes. I just played it a little while ago. That's a cool song. Best part of that whole song, the solo is cool too, but the best part of that song is the breakdown. And he just goes wild. That's awesome, man. And then, of course, the last part, the best part of the song. I'm gonna swallow it. So anyways, good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, I am playing the Yamaha TH10 or TH310, THR10, excuse me, 10X. That's a great little amp, man. I mean, it's just got such cool sound for such a little package. The day that I presented that guitar to Jimmy last week or a week and a half ago, we were just kind of jamming through that. And my main rig here, and Jimmy was like, wow, the power of that thing is so cool. So yeah, that's a great little practice amp. Vinny, what's going on? I'm doing great, man. How are you? Today was kind of a last minute thing. I didn't put anything out. I wasn't even really planning on doing a show. My son and I are going on a men's retreat today, actually through our church, and we're actually going up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire. So it's going to be kind of fun. He's home for college, and I haven't had a chance to really spend much time with him. So Connor and I are going to get a chance to go kind of hang out this weekend. So I'm kind of pumped up. So we're leaving in a few hours. So I just thought I would come on and thought we'd kind of jump in and talk about this guitar, the Charvel Star guitar that Eddie played back in 79, late 79 and 1980 during the Invasion tour. So I thought we'd kind of jump right into that. But yeah, this little amp is nice. I mean, I ended up selling my 5153 1x12 combo just because I didn't need it, because I had this big, huge wet, dry, wet EVH rig here, you know. And I got that pretty much dialed into, you know, everything I could possibly want. Craig, since you're watching this, that little Bray box, I don't know if you saw my last video that I did, but my delay and my harmonist, my detune harmonizer, the PS6, I'm not running those through the effects loop anymore. They were coming out of my head into the Bray box, into the cab, and then out of the Bray box into those two units. So the power amp and the preamps have a chance to really, it gives it more power, gives it more sound. So the two PV 5150s, the wet ones, are really awesome. So now the effects sound a little bit more, not overpowering, but they're a little bit more, the dry amp sounds a little more powerful, and the effects sound a little cooler. So that Bray box is really cool, the LO1. So I recommend that for anybody. The effects loop is great, but Eddie doesn't run anything through the effects loop. He uses that same type of a box that Dave Friedman built him, and that's how he's pretty much run his effects. He's never used an effects loop. Because you will, like I said, you get a more powerful sound when you're running like a wet, dry, wet rig like that. But anyways, yeah, it is, dude. I mean, you're right, Craig. It's awesome. And as soon as I got that thing hooked up, and I turned everything on, I clicked it off standby, and I hit that first chord. It was just like, whoa. I mean, it just sounded so much different. I mean, it sounded cool before, but now it just sounds even better. So next time you come over and visit, you're gonna. That's exactly. Well, mine's at. I found the sweet spot for my rig. Mine's just at about 12:30, 1 o'clock. Yep. I tried it at 12. It's, if you have it all the way up like it recommends, it's just too powerful. It's too smothering. It's too wet and, like, you know, processed sounding. So yeah, you're right. That's right about where mine is. That seems to be the sweet spot. But yeah, I'd actually definitely got to come down to the house. By the way, Craig, did you get that Circles guitar? I never heard back. Did the customer? We good? Did he like it? Was everything cool? Hopefully hopefully everything's good, and you were able to kind of do what we needed. Nice. Okay, good. So, anyways, we'll just jump right in here. We got enough people watching, and I just wanted to talk again about the Charvel Star. So back in 1979, sometime about probably halfway through, thanks, the tour, Eddie picked up a Charvel Star. And, oh gosh, there is a picture of it floating out there somewhere. Hang on 1 second, because I want to grab this. I want to grab this picture. You guys definitely want to see this. All right. Eddie picked up a Charvel Star. And we're thinking that at the time, he had a Strat neck on it. Well, not thinking, but absolutely 100% had a Strat neck on it. Because here's a picture of Eddie with this guitar. I don't know if he purchased the guitar in white or if he painted it white. Or maybe it was natural. I don't know. The Charvel Stars came in a lot of different colors, but it was made by Charvel. Here's a picture of Eddie in '79 playing this guitar. It's hard. Sorry about the glare, guys. Here we go. That's the Star. It's all white, but look at the headstock. It's a Strat style. So he had a Strat style neck on it. Now that very well could be the original neck that came with the guitar. Could be. We don't know that, but it could be. Because a lot of the Charvel guitars came with Strat style headstocks back in those days. And I've seen pictures of the real Stars with Strat headstocks. So that could be the original neck. Eddie was using this neck at the time in 1978 and 1979. He was using it on a black destroyer, a black Explorer. It wasn't his Ibanez Destroyer that we all know. He was using this neck on a black Explorer. Could have been a Greco-Japanese guitar, we don't know. But he was definitely using this neck on a black Explorer. So we figure sometime he picked this neck up back in '78 before it had Floyd hardware on it. And he was running it on that black Explorer. That black Explorer became the Snake Dragon guitar, which was painted and cut and chiseled all out in that really cool design by a gentleman by the name of John Sterry. So that was the guitar that became. So it's 1979, Eddie buys a Star sometime halfway through the tour. Now, if you watch the Fresno footage of the '79 tour, you'll see him playing this white Star, which is the one that became, I call it the Pirate. Well, I don't have it anymore, but it was this guitar with a paint job on it. It looks like a pirate with a skull and crossbones and all that weird stuff. And initially, like I showed you in that picture, he had a Strat headstock on it. All right. Sometime at the end of the '79 tour, he switched the neck and put that neck that he had on the black Explorer after it was painted and carved to the Snake Dragon. He put this neck on it. All right, there's the Snake Dragon guitar, and it's got the original B neck on it, the Charvel neck. All right. Now here is the Star, the white Star. Now it's got this Dan Electro neck on it. Okay. Notice it doesn't have a Floyd on it yet. It's got a Fender Gibson style gold bridge with just a regular nut. And see this little thing right down here he's got? It's this little weird looking thing sticking out that's not a knob. Eddie drilled a hole in this body and stuck that little piece of plastic or whatever, metal, whatever it is, a screw or something with a bunch of duct tape on it. And the reason he did that was because back in those days, well actually not in those days, but with that kind of bridge, if your bar swung around, it would just screw out and it would fall off. So with all the jumping around Eddie was doing, I believe that he had that there as a bar stop. So it could swing around this way, it wouldn't matter, but it would hit his hand. It couldn't go around. But if it went around this way, it wouldn't eventually just unscrew itself and fall on the floor. So it was basically a bar stop. So you can tell I drilled a hole here in mine to kind of replicate that. And then he pulled it out. He didn't have it on there very long. And we believe that, or I should say I believe, that he pulled it out once he put the Floyd on, because you didn't need it anymore, because you can spin these things all day long and they won't come out with these old school collars. Now I put a whale tail style collar on this and bent the bar back a little bit so it's more whale tailish, but if you screw in that locking nut in the back, just to that point where you get that little bit of play like Eddie had it, you can spin them all day long and they're not going to do anything. So he probably removed it because he didn't need it anymore. But that's after the Floyd hardware got installed, the bridge and then the nut. So Eddie switched that neck, and he really loved this Dan Electro neck. Like I said, he'd had this thing around since '78. He used it on that black Explorer, which became the Snake Dragon, and then he put it on this guitar. And then there's a lot of speculation, was that the neck that actually became this neck on the Rude guitar, which is a 2-inch thick body? Is that this neck here? We did a little bit of a headstock job too? I don't believe so. This is a totally different neck, I believe. It's a Dan Electro style neck, but I don't think that's the same neck. I'm pretty sure it's not. It's a totally different neck. But this was the configuration pretty much of this guitar until he dismantled it. And then there's a picture of a 1984 Guitar World magazine, I think, of Eddie holding this body all painted up. Before we go, we'll just check a couple things out. Let's see. Jimmy Carr, what's going on, dude? Johnny Bean, hello from the studio. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. We're doing a little chat on the Charvel Star guitar today. So, 1979, 1980, now Eddie's playing this guitar. It becomes one of his main guitars. And it doesn't stay white for too long. We believe that it stayed white 79 era, end of 79 era. Then he put the Floyd hardware on and it stayed white for another portion of time. And somewhere in the beginning of the Invasion Tour 1980, could have been just before, or could have been after the first quarter. It's hard to tell by pictures. But sometime in early 1980, probably after they started the tour, Eddie put a good paint job, or put a different paint job on it. So you see the guitar, like I showed you in the picture, like this. Looks like it's got a, looks like it could be like a Shaler type pickup on it, like a rail system pickup, okay? No Floyd hardware. Now if we open this book, this is an old issue of the Inside Mag. What we got? It's got a write-up on it in here somewhere, I think. Maybe it's back here. Carved Dragon, yellow shit. It doesn't talk about it. I thought it did. I thought it had a little write-up in here on that Charvel star. Maybe this is it. Nope, that's not it. Okay, I thought I had a write-up in here, but I guess not. No big deal. Just do one more check. I got more information on it, but... Okay, no big deal. But the guitar was like this, had a white pickup on it, and then Eddie put the Floyd on it, and for a period of time it had a black pickup on it. This is Eddie's guitar, and so it's got the Floyd hardware, black pickup, not quite sure what it is, might be probably a Duncan or maybe a Gibson PAF or something. And it's got one of the first Floyd Rose units with no fine tuners on it, okay? So really, really, really cool. So there's the Snake Dragon with that Charvel Bumblebee neck on it, okay? And remember, this neck used to be on this guitar when this was a Black Explorer before John Sterry painted it. Then he painted it, Eddie put this neck on it, and then moved the neck over to the Star, which originally had a Strat-style neck on it. And we believe that this neck is still on this guitar. I believe it is. I'm almost positive it is, but it has a Floyd on it now. It's got a black Floyd. Might be a different neck, but I think it is that one. So when I built this guitar, and I've had a few different stars, I built a striped star years ago. It was a K&E body and a custom neck I had done, and I loved it. And I ended up getting rid of it, and I regretted it. But I did have the EVH star for a while, and I really liked that. But like I said a few shows ago, that I'm really trying to get back to the vintage replicas again. I used to be, I've always been into them, but I kind of went on a EVH hunt there for a little while, which I still am. But some of these older guitars, I really like to keep them more original. I really thought it'd be fun to do a white one, so I just did the white one. And one day I may paint it, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. So this is a lock custom neck. Chris did an awesome job on this, and it's a lock custom body. So that last picture I showed you, which is out of a Player magazine, the February issue of Player magazine, is basically what I was going for. I went with a black pickup, speed knob with a little metal tab indicator, okay? And it is a Floyd Rose. It's an original German Floyd, okay, with the wood screws. However, it's not a non-fine tuner. I wanted to go with the fine tuners on this one because I really wanted it to be kind of a player, more of a player, So I went with that. It's got the little hole here again for the for that little bar that Eddie had in there. It's got the right size number 8 eyelets. Switchcraft jack in there. These are Gatto tuners. Eddie pretty much used Schallers and Gotos back then. Original Charvel neck plate, and I got a brass block in there, which I put on just because I think it gets better sustain, and pretty much that's about it. So this really is a great playing guitar. I love it. It feels good, it plays good, I got a nice low action on it. Like I said, Chris really knocked it out of the park when he made this thing. I'm really happy with it. I love how it feels. It's actually one of my main players now. It's just got such a really good feel to it, Sounds good, feels good, plays good. It's just a great playing guitar. I love it. It even plays good acoustically. But Johnny Bean, gonna get some breakfast. Yeah, you gotta have breakfast, dude. It's like 2 o'clock here. It's almost 3 o'clock here. So noontime, it's time for lunch. Should go to In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. Denny Allen, how you doing? Yeah, the single pickup and the volume control is keeping it simple. That's pretty much what Ed did. He was always, right from the early days, right up until 1991 when he went with Music Man, he was always a single pickup, single knob guy. Even with the guitars that had, other pickups in them, most of the time they weren't even hooked up. Because he never could get a sound out of a neck pickup or a middle pickup, like if it was a Strat, that he wanted. He could only get the sound out of the bridge that he wanted. So what he would do is he would just manipulate his volume knob. And he never used tone knobs either, because he never liked tone knobs. It was just a volume knob with one pickup, and he would get different sounds just by manipulating the volume. But pretty cool. I mean, I subscribe to that theory too, because I never use a tone knob, especially in like my Wolfgangs or my Music Mans. I mean, if I want a different sound, I just switch to the neck pickup. The tone knob really is useless to me. Some people love them, and that's great. I have no use for them. But the simpler the better for me. So anyways, back to this guitar. That's the kind of the vibe and the look I was going for my Star. And I may paint it at some point. If I painted it, I'd probably have to switch the pickup up. Because Eddie had, he went with a white pickup, then he went with a black one, then he ended up with a white one again. And I believe he still owns this body. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't. But I don't think the guitar is set up. The last known picture of this actual guitar, this one that we have, is that Guitar World picture where Eddie's wearing like a rainbow striped strap, and he's got the body kind of hanging there. So now we jump into the 1980 tour, and Eddie's really loving this guitar, and it's one of his main guitars. So on the 1980 tour, he was playing a Les Paul. He was playing this Charvel Star, which had a fresh paint job on it, because Eddie, he was always turning the corner on stuff. He could never keep the same thing for too long. Plus, he was always kind of, back in those days, he was sick of people copying his stuff. People were always copying his shit and copying his paint job. That used to annoy him back in those early 80s. He did not like that. So he was always turning the corner on people, and he was very manipulative in a lot of cases on what he would tell people. As far as, what his techniques were. Because, back in 1980, Van Halen, Women and Children First, and Fair Warning, they were like one of the biggest rock bands ever back then. They were the new thing. So, Eddie was playing the Frankenstrat, too, on the 1980 tour. We'll go through that in another show, because that had some different changes. One day I'd like to do, like I did with the 5150, a real in-depth conversation on the Frankenstrat. My Frankie body's getting repainted, so I'll wait till that comes back. Nick, the kid, is doing that, so it's going to be really awesome. And he's going off of these fresh picks from the New York Met, where the real one is. And that is the real one. Those people on Facebook, you guys think that's, or not you guys necessarily watching the show, but I see so many people, I don't think that's the real guitar. It's the real one. I know that for a fact, because I know the guy. I'm good friends with a guy that actually picked it up from Ed's house. So it is the real one, okay? No doubt. But anyway, so we'll do another one on that. But Eddie was playing the Frankenstrat, he was playing a Les Paul, he was playing a Star, and that weird looking blue Yamaha thing, kind of made a couple of appearances here and there. But if you guys remember that, I forget the model it was. Hubs, if he jumps in here, you might remember it. I know Johnny would probably remember it. So here's what the new guitar looked like. Same guitar, different paint job. There's that Dan Electro neck, he loved it. Look at the paint job. And on the back, it's hard to tell, it says UBAB 2. U-B-A-B-T-W-O. UBAB 2. And what does that mean? It's some kind of an inside joke they had going on back in those days. Johnny might have a little bit more information on that, but there's some reading on that. It was an inside joke, UBAB 2, and I actually had that on my last one that I painted. EVH did not put that on theirs because I don't think they realized that it existed. But anyways, so really cool paint job. I call it the pirate paint job because it's got a whole bunch of skull and crossbones and stuff on it. It's really, really cool. And here's another picture of Ed with this guitar. Really, really awesome. Really cool. Still got the same pickup in it, same volume knob, probably the same tuners, definitely the same Floyd. It's the same non-fine tuner chrome original Floyd Rose. And it was one of Eddie's main guitars. He loved it. And also Eddie was still playing the Black and Yellow B back in 1980 also. That was another one he played. But those were his main guitars. And this one was one, like I said, that he played in '79. He played it in the Invasion tour pretty much almost exclusively. Between that and the Frankie, those were his two main Floyd Rose guitars. And like we said, the B made a couple of appearances here and there, but it wasn't as prominent as it was on the second World Tour. And then pretty much that's about all you saw of it. There was some times too when the Shark Destroyer was played in the Invasion tour. Also, there's pictures of that. But once Fair Warning came around, this guitar, you didn't really see it much anymore. It kind of took a back seat. And he went back to his Frankenstrat, and then he had his Rude guitar, the Circles guitar. So this pretty much only had about a tour and a half worth of playtime. And that was pretty much the last you saw of it, other than, like I said, that '84 Guitar World. And then where does this guitar reside today? I don't know. I've heard Eddie has it. I've heard Eddie does not have it. I've heard it got stolen. I don't know. But I do believe he probably still has this neck, because he did take the neck off of this guitar when he still had it. So he very well might have a neck. But he loved these Dan Electro necks back in those days. He even had a Dan Electro neck on the Frankenstrat in the warm-ups of the US Festival, which that was the one that he had on the Weird Shapes. That was that exact neck. But he had a thing for these Dan Electro necks. Kind of interesting. He never got back to them after that. I mean, the mid-'80s came and he was into the Kramer thing. But back in those early '80s, late '70s, he was loving these Dano style necks, and Floyd was just coming out, so it was kind of a cool time. Yeah, I love them too, Johnny, and and especially this one. I mean, like I said, Chris did such an awesome job. I mean, it just feels amazing. It's so smooth. I mean, even for the hammer-on stuff, I mean, it just feels incredible. I love the neck. It's unfinished, of course. Rosewood fretboard and maple neck rosewood board. But it's got an amazing feel to it. It's kind of wide, but it's very thin. So let's see what we got here. Nocturnal Butterfly, how are you? Good to see ya. Let's see. Neck pickup favors bass and the bridge pickup favors treble. I like the mix when clean. Yeah, absolutely. I do too. What I'll do a lot is when I'm playing like my Wolfgangs or my Music Mans, obviously when I'm playing, lead, obviously I'm on the bridge. But sometimes when I switch into solos, any kind of solo, I'll switch to the neck, because Eddie used to call it a woman tone, but it's kind of a more warm kind of, I don't know. It fits the mood, I guess. You don't have to do that. Obviously, if you're playing a one pickup guitar, you can't do that. And turning your volume down on the solo really isn't an option because you want that drive. You can hit a phase 90 or phase shifter or whatever and get a different vibe. But that is one of the nice things about the neck pickups is you can get kind of a warmer sound, and I do like that. And you can certainly hear that on Van Halen's later stuff with Sammy when he switched over to Music Man. Have you guys ever played a Dan Electro? I have. I've never owned one, but a couple of my friends have them, and they are really cool guitars. Really cool guitars. Brendan, what's going on? How are you? Yeah. Yep, 59. Yep. I think that's what this is. This is a Duncan 59. But basically, what's up, buddy? How you doing? That's pretty much the history of this guitar. There's really not a lot else out there. There's a lot of pictures out there of this guitar. Not a lot of them in this configuration when it was white. And like I said, I'll show you guys one more time. Very, very few pictures of Eddie actually, you know, using this guitar with a Strat neck on it. There's very few pictures of that. This was one of the only ones I've ever seen. I knew he had one on it, but this is one of the only pictures I've ever seen. And like I said before, I would imagine that was probably the original neck that came with it, because these Charvel Stars, they didn't come with Dano necks. Obviously, Eddie put that on there, but they came with Strat style necks. And if you're lucky enough on eBay or Reverb or wherever to find an original Charvel, you know, like this from the late 70s, you're probably going to have a Strat style neck on it. Because that's what they were doing. That was Charvel's, you know, Charvel and Fender were kind of sharing that same headstock back then. And then you saw things change when Fender started kicking their heels in. Kramer started doing that with the Strat headstocks, and Fender was like, nope, stop. And they had got a cease and desist order, and they had to stop. And that's, you know, thank goodness they did, because that's where the beak necks came from. Yeah, the classic beak necks, and then eventually the hockey sticks. So I'm glad they did stop. But not a lot more to talk about on this guitar. You know, I mean, it's just a really cool guitar, and I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily just mine. I'm talking about Eddie's. I really liked it. A lot of people hate this headstock shape on an Eddie guitar. They hated it. I kind of like it, actually. I mean, I like it because it's different. You know, I'm kind of glad EVH, when they made this guitar and you know, they decided they want to redo this one, which I'm glad they did, and they did a great job on it. I mean, I miss mine. I wish I still had it, but I'm glad I got rid of it, because it would have allowed me to build this one. They did a great job, and they kept the classic, you know, Dano style headstock, and they put out a really good product. And I had mine for a few years, and I loved it. And like I said, Hubbard has it now, but I'm really digging this new, you know, this new build I just did. And I love the feel. Like I said, I love the sound, and you know, it's pretty. I'm just digging it. Yeah, they call it the Coke bottle. You're right. Yeah. Craig, you don't need me to show you anything, dude. Knock it off. You're an amazing player. Matter of fact, Craig is the one that, you know, probably going to flub it up now because I'm live. You know, I play great when nobody's watching. Everybody's watching. It's like, you know, I feel like I've been playing 5 minutes. But actually, for those of you that are serious, Craig's not serious. He's being a dink, because he knows how to play way better than I do. But basically, the tapping thing. All you're basically doing is you're hitting on the B and the high E with your index, and then you're thumping on the low E with your thumb, and then you're kind of just somewhat muting down here, and just kind of, so without the amp on. And basically the pattern is, it's a pattern, and you got to get a feel for it. I mean, sometimes I don't play by the pattern. I just you know. Craig taught me how to do that, but I still can't do it that good. But one of the things Craig did remind me of is what Eddie used to do back in, 82? He used to do this thing, and I forgot about this, and Craig was over like 6 months ago and he showed me. It just sounds awful. So anyways, it's kind of a cool guitar. I really love playing this. It's, like I said, it's one of my main players right now. See you later, Johnny. Take care, buddy. Have a good show tonight. I wish I could join you guys, but I'm going to be in upstate New Hampshire with my son. But say hi to everybody for me tonight. Let's see what else we got. Nocturnal Butterfly, gonna get ready to shop till she drops. Nice, have fun. Buy me something nice, would you? The 84 tour is where I got that from. What are you talking about? Oh, the 84 tour? I thought, well, he what are you talking about? He did that, well, maybe. But I know he did it on the South American leg of Diver Down, because he was using this guitar. He was using the Kramer Ad guitar. He was using this one for that, because I was just watching that the other day. Like, oh, that's what Craig showed me. He was doing that. He was doing that there too, which I thought was always pretty cool. But yeah, it's pretty neat. But yeah, the Mean Street intro. That's. You can either flub it up real good, or you can just nail it. And some days, Teddy, what's going on, dude? How are you, my friend? Good to see you, or hear you. But yeah, you'll have to go back. We're going to call it in a few minutes. We've been live here for a little while. This was a show on the Charvel Star, the original one, and then going into some history on it with how it kind of came about, and then what Eddie did with it. This was always a guitar that I always wished I could have seen Eddie play. I mean, I did get to see him play the EVH, the newer one, on the 15 tour. I took my ex-girlfriend and I went to see them back in 2015. And yeah, he played it in all weight, so it was kind of cool to see that. Did you get to the Met yet? No, I haven't. I'm actually hoping to go in the next month or so. The guitar is going to be there until October. So I got a little bit of time to get there. But no, I'm definitely going to get there. But the good news is Nick is repainting my Frankenstrat as we speak, and he's been out to get some real good picks. So, timing couldn't have been better to have a Frankenstrat repaint job. And I've done them before, but I'm going to let the pros do it now, because I used to be a pro at it. And all you young kids come along, man, and you just start freaking railing the shit out of the park. And Scott Smith and I talk all the time. We're like, let these guys do it, man. I don't mind, let you guys do it, because you guys kick ass. Between Nick and Hubs and, Craig, I mean, yeah, only difference with Craig is he ain't a young guy anymore, but he's still knocking it out of the park. Craig's going to slam me here in a minute once he gets... Oh, Craig's going on the 17th? Is that of May or June? 17th, let me see. Because if you're going in this month, I might be able to join you. Actually, I don't have any plans for that. I don't have any plans for May 17th, Craig. I start a new job the following Monday, and I believe that's a Friday. If you want, let's get offline, and I'd like to hook up with you. Maybe you and I can go together. I can drive out to your place, and we'll go from there, and whatever. And you can hold my hand the whole way, because I know you can't stand to keep your hands off me. See, Nesdal's not here, so I got to pick on somebody. But, Anyways, what else we got? And crash your date. Crash it, dude. The more the merrier, man. I'll ask the guy who's taking me going to be private visit because I got it like that. Oh, that's cool. No worries. No worries. There's always another time. But, yeah, I definitely want to get down there, Teddy. I want to check it out. Obviously, the Frankenstrat is a guitar that, you know, it's the ultimate Van Halen guitar. I mean, I'm a fan of the 5150 the most, but, you know, the Frankenstrat is obviously the guitar, too. And the fact that it's the real one is awesome. So, you know, for those of you guys that have an opportunity to go, definitely check it out, because the folks my friends that have looked at it already, they're like, man, it looks so much different up close. And, you know, it's kind of the same thing with any of the Eddie guitars. They all look different up close. I mean, I've seen this guitar a handful of times, you know, up close in L.A., but, you know, the Neptune guitar, I mean, you see this guitar, and this is probably one of the most accurate versions I've seen of it. Hubbard redid mine for me. But this guitar looks different up close, too. You see pictures of it, and you're like, oh, that's so cool. But you see it up close, and you're like, man, I mean, it looks like a child painted the thing, seriously. And, you know, that's not to slam Eddie or Paul or any of those guys. It's just, that's how Eddie liked it. He liked a very non-factory, basic paint job. And he loved them all scuffed up. And these guitars now are so old. The Frankenstrat's a little different, because that was a different kind of paint. And I think Eddie had real spots of that guitar. They were painted real thick. And in other areas it was real thin, so it wore in different areas. But that, you know, a lot of these guitars, especially the Kramers, they painted them so thin that, you know, and it's been 35 freaking years, 30, 35 years, whatever, that, you know, you can see the pores in the wood now, and the grain is so much more prominent. So they really look so cool, and there's so much history with them, and I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a Van Halen guitar player's wet dream, really, basically, to see this stuff up close, you know. So it's definitely cool, definitely cool. Yeah, that's fine, Craig. I'm just giving you shit. Yeah, whatever, man. I'm open for anything, but I definitely need to get out and check it out for sure. But anyways, I'll let you guys go. This was we've been on about an hour or so right now, maybe a little bit less, actually about 45 minutes. But just wanted to kind of get on and say hi. I will be doing a show next week. I'm going to do something a little bit more planned. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to get into one of the Kramer guitars. Like I said, I want to go through every guitar, and there's been a whole bunch of people that have been messaging me, asking me to go back through the 5150 again, because there's been a lot of information that we've kind of, I guess I should say, maybe we missed a little. We'll talk about the Rude guitar, the different necks that were on it. One thing I do want to make mention of right now, which is really, really cool, is I've known about these for a long time, but just for leave you guys with one piece of information, a lot of you guys probably know this, but for those of you that may not, is the Schaller double tab thing. Basically, you guys know what a Schaller double tab is. It's Schaller, you know, M6 mini tuner, but the little tabs down the back of the headstock, that I have a couple up there, but I'm going to pull it down now. These little tabs, the Schallers have, double tabs have one on each side, one high, one low. They're 40, usually 90 degrees. They're hard to find now. They're really hard to find. Well, Eddie has one Schaller double tab on his 5150, where he moved the Gatto tuner down to the bottom, and he put a Schaller double tab up there just to fill the hole. He doesn't use it, but that's a Schaller double tab. Come to find out, the Bumblebee had all Schaller double tabs on it. The Circles guitar had all Schaller double tabs on it. And I'm not going to show you the pictures now because I want to wait, because I want to do a special show on that. We'll go through everything, kind of, you know, be kind of a fun. I don't want to, you know, blow the whole load right now. But Eddie was using Schaller double tabs on so many guitars back in the 70s. He had them on his Ibanez Destroyer. He had them on the Circles guitar. He had them on the VH1 for a period of time. He had them on the Bumblebee. There was other guitars I think he had them on too. But I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. Back in the late 70s, the Schaller double tabs, they were making them by the thousands. They were making these all the time, and then they kind of just stopped. I don't know when. Must have been in the early '80s, I guess, because you don't need 2 tabs. It's foolish. I mean, you really don't even need one if you cinch the nut on the top down enough. And some tuners just have a little nipple on the back with a hole in the headstock. You don't even need a screw. But they were putting these out in the late '70s, and they put them out by the thousands. And there were a lot out there, but they're really kind of hard to come by now. But back in the late '70s, early '80s, like '80, '81, '82, '80, '81 basically. He had them on a whole bunch of his guitars. A lot of his guitars had these shallower double tabs, and they're really kind of cool. So if you can find a set, grab them. I just found a set myself for my Circles guitar. And, if I can round some up, I sometimes maybe throw them on my beat or whatever. You don't see them much anymore. And when the Kramer thing came out, Eddie was just basically using shallers or Godos, but they only had the single tab. But definitely something to keep in mind. If you check out some pictures and you have a keen eye, check out those the shallower double tabs, and they're pretty obvious when you see them. But all right, Craig, take care, buddy. If you already jetted, talk to you soon. Randy, what's happening? But I'm gonna bounce myself, guys. I got to get ready for my trip. And again, thank you for tuning in and checking out this really interesting guitar that Eddie had. And we'll do another show next week, and we'll do a show on kind of a surprise guitar and all kinds of stuff more to come. Got a ton of stuff I want to show you guys and a bunch of history to go through. The fact that you guys are, I hope, enjoying these shows. The messages I get show that you are. You get a few thumbs down here and there, and that's cool. I don't care. I mean, it's fine. People, you got to have that because that's what makes the world go around. And plus, it shows me that maybe there's some tweaks I can be doing. But I hope you guys like it, and I hope you guys continue to tune in. You guys are awesome. Wouldn't even be worth doing the shows if you guys didn't jump in and leave your comments. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. I love playing guitar, I love doing the Eddie thing, and I love hanging out chatting with you guys. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Thanks, guys.